Russia has a long history with oil and gas. These resources are very important to its economy. Before 2022, oil and gas paid for almost half of Russia's budget. This means that Russia needed to sell oil and gas to have money for schools, hospitals, and the military. Even though their importance has decreased, oil and gas still represent about a quarter of Russia's economy today. This makes Russia very dependent on the price of these resources. When prices are high, Russia does well. But when prices are low, or when other countries don't want to buy Russian oil and gas, Russia has problems. This dependence on energy exports is a big concern for Russia. It means that the country is vulnerable. If something happens to the oil and gas industry, the whole country feels it. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has added another layer of complexity to Russia's energy situation. Since late 2023, Ukraine has been using drones to target Russian oil facilities. These drone attacks have damaged key infrastructure, including refineries and storage depots. These attacks have had a significant impact on Russia's oil production capacity. Some estimates suggest that Ukrainian attacks have reduced Russia's refining capacity by as much as 16%. This has made it more difficult for Russia to process its oil and get it ready for export. These attacks demonstrate the vulnerability of Russia's energy infrastructure. They highlight the challenges Russia faces in maintaining its energy production in the face of determined opposition. In response to Russia's actions in Ukraine, Western countries have imposed strict sanctions. These sanctions are designed to limit Russia's ability to sell oil and gas on the global market. The goal is to put pressure on Russia by reducing its income. To bypass these sanctions, Russia has resorted to using what is known as a shadow fleet. This fleet is made up of older tankers that are willing to operate outside of the usual rules and regulations. They often turn off their tracking devices and engage in ship-to-ship transfers to hide their activities. However, even with this shadow fleet, Russia is facing difficulties. Western countries are cracking down on these tactics, making it harder and riskier for ships to transport Russian oil. This is putting further pressure on Russia's already struggling energy sector. Shrinking revenues and a growing deficit. The combination of Ukrainian attacks, Western sanctions, and Russia's reliance on a shadow fleet has taken a toll on the country's finances. Oil export earnings have dropped significantly, leading to a widening budget deficit. This budget deficit means that Russia is spending more money than it is taking in. To cover this shortfall, Russia has been forced to dip into its sovereign wealth fund, a reserve of money set aside for emergencies. This is not a sustainable long-term solution. The shrinking oil revenues are a major concern for the Russian government. They highlight the economic challenges Russia faces as it tries to navigate a world where its energy exports are no longer as welcome. Navigating financial isolation. The sanctions imposed by Western countries have not only targeted Russia's energy sector, but have also sought to isolate Russia from the global financial system. Russia can no longer borrow money from many international lenders, making it difficult to finance its activities. This financial isolation has made it harder for Russia to do business with other countries. It has also limited Russia's access to foreign currency, which is needed to pay for imports and debts. This isolation has forced Russia to become more reliant on its own resources and to seek out alternative partnerships with countries willing to defy Western sanctions. Internal economic challenges in Russia. In addition to external pressures, Russia is also facing several internal economic challenges. One of the most pressing issues is a growing labor shortage. With many young men fighting in Ukraine and others fleeing the country, there are not enough workers to fill essential jobs. This labor shortage is being felt across various sectors, from manufacturing to technology. It is driving up wages and making it harder for businesses to operate at full capacity. This labor shortage, coupled with high inflation and a decline in foreign investment, has created a perfect storm for Russia's economy. Putin's miscalculation and the future of Russia. Many experts believe that Putin misjudged the West's resolve when he ordered the invasion of Ukraine. He underestimated the willingness of Western countries to impose harsh sanctions and to provide support to Ukraine. He also miscalculated Europe's dependence on Russian gas. European countries have been actively working to reduce their reliance on Russian energy, finding alternative suppliers and investing in renewable energy sources. The combination of all these factors, the war in Ukraine, Western sanctions, internal economic challenges, and Putin's miscalculations, has created a deeply uncertain future for Russia. The country is facing its most serious economic crisis in decades, and it is unclear how long Putin can maintain his grip on power. The coming months and years will be crucial for Russia. The decisions made during this time will determine whether the country can navigate its current challenges, or whether it will sink further into economic and political turmoil.